Hello and welcome developers. My name is Shay and this is another episode of Shay Develops. Today we're going to be talking about getters and setters. Now we use getters and setters within our classes to allow us to get data or store data into our class's fields or variables. And then that without allowing access to the fields themselves. So if you want to, we can go ahead and create a new Java class. We're going to call it something like student, and make this a little bigger. And then we're going to give our student class a couple of fields. We'll do private string name, and then private int age. Now you notice that we are setting it to private, meaning that anything outside of this class student can't access our methods, and that's a good thing. We want it like that, so that way things can't like get messed up somehow, or who knows what could happen with when somebody else goes in and starts adding in data to our class. So the next thing we want to do is create a constructor, which is I'm using the shorthand alt insert to bring up my menu, coding menu that'll allow me to quickly create a constructor. So this is if you haven't seen my video on constructors and this is new to you, go check that out. It's a pretty good video, kind of short. It's fairly short, and then come back to this and continue on. Alright, so now that we have our constructors, that way we can instantiate our class. So let's go ahead and instantiate our class. We'll do student, nope, not string, student. We'll say student1 equals new student, and we have to pass it two arguments here, and you'll see right here string and age. Let's do my name and my age, and then we're going to just output what student 1 looks like right now, because we can't really do anything. If we hit our dot notation and then go through, and this is a list of everything that we can do with it, there's nothing to actually get the data that we want. Say we want to output the name or something, there's nothing we can actually do that with at this right now. We're going to have to create something that allows us to like print a name or change the age or whatever it is that we're wanting to do. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and back that up. Let's run this. So you're going to see what happens whenever we just like output student 1. We're going to get the reference data right here. And I need to change that com.company. But we get the reference data to our student. But that doesn't really do a whole lot of good, right? So now we need to come up with a way to output a student's name, and that's with a getter. So in order to create a getter, you could use the alt insert and just getter and setter, or both getter and setter right here, and allow us to create the getters and setters for our fields that we have set up with the class. But they're pretty easy, right? So just public, and then we're doing a getter, so we're going to be returning something. We're going to be returning a string, and we're going to call it get name. We don't have to pass it anything, and then we just return this dot name, and with this is referring to the instantiated class that we're currently on. It's just being a bit more thorough. Alright, so that's the getter for the name. Let's create one for the age as well. Public int get age, return this dot age. So now I could also just do return age, and that'll probably work exactly the same, but I like to be a bit more thorough and include in this as well. Now this is going to allow us to output the name and age of our student. So let's go ahead and do that. Student1.name or get name is student1.getAge years old. Now if we run this, instead of getting this this reference value here to our data, we're going to actually output the data to the screen. We'll see that right there. Shay is 34 years old. Alright, so now back to our student class. Let's go over setters. Now this is a way to update the data that we originally passed to our constructor here, and then being able to output that data again. So we'll do public void, because this time we're not returning anything, we're just saving something, so we don't have to return anything. Public void, we're going to use the set name. Now it's just common practice to use get name and get age, or set name, set age, whatever it is the name of the method is, or not the method, but the field, just so you can easily identify, okay, this is a getter and this is a setter. But also keep in mind, it may not always be beneficial to use a getter and setter, because you don't want some things to be changed, or you don't want access to it within like certain other classes, or there's a lot of other reasons. So sometimes you may not want to use these getters and setters, but sometimes you will want to use the getters and setters. So that's what this video is for, teaching you how to use that. So let's go ahead and set name, right? So we're going to set name, so we're going to pass it something, right? We're going to pass it a string, because our string is a name. And really, once a name is set, I mean, unless there's like a typo or something, it shouldn't have to be changed, or somebody gets married, something like that. But let's go ahead and do it anyway, just to show you guys. We're going to set this dot name equals to name, and that's literally it right there. That is your setter. Now you could be like, well, if name is null, write a little bit of validation in there. You can totally do that if you wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now. And the other thing we can do is do a set, and I'm going to do it with the shortcut this way. We can do a set age as well. You can see the same thing that I wrote up here. It wrote for me right here. So let's go update this and try again. So we'll give student 1, say they messed up my age, and I'm really dot set age, and I'm really 33. And then now we output student 1 again, and copy and paste that, and then output it again, and now it'll go from Shay is 34 years old to Shay is 33 years old. And that is the power of getters and setters. Hopefully you guys learned something. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. That is my dog barking. I'm really sorry. Hopefully they'll quit here in a second. But if you do me a huge favor, like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you guys are working on, how I can help you out, and what videos you'd like to see me do in the future. Alright, you guys take care, and I'll see you in a later video.